Ambushed by a PIP during my annual review. I was with this company for 4 years. My boss was always a bit odd. I hate to call anyone stupid, but I genuinely don't know how else to describe him. He would forget almost anything you told him right away, and even the simplest task had to be explained to him multiple times. I'm a patient person, so repeating myself wasn't the issue. The problem was that he had no understanding of what my role involved, so the only way he could manage me was by asking endless questions about my projects until he found some minor flaw. Then he'd fixate on that instead of evaluating the overall quality of the work. Because of this, his feedback was scattered and inconsistent. I don't think he ever formed his own opinion of my performance. Instead, he regularly asked other managers and coworkers for their thoughts and treated that as his feedback. Despite that, I never received below a fully meets expectations rating in my annual reviews. I credit that to the fact that I documented my weekly progress toward my goals and reviewed it with him every week. That changed during this year's review. He told me he was giving me a does not meet expectations and placing me on a 30-day PIP immediately. I was stunned and heartbroken. I take a lot of pride in my work, and it was painfully obvious that he was making things up just to justify negative feedback. He was clearly shifting the goalposts. One of my goals was to submit a certain number of safety observations. I exceeded that target, but he still failed me on it, claiming it wasn't enough. When I asked why none of this had ever come up in our weekly meetings, he admitted he hadn't seen any issues with my performance during the year. But right before review season, he claimed he got negative feedback from coworkers and decided to use that instead. When I pressed him for details, he was vague or described events that simply never happened. The PIP itself was the vaguest I'd ever seen. No metrics, no clear expectations, just a lot of empty language. I started applying for other roles immediately. Around the same time, the company implemented a full hiring freeze due to tariffs. Thankfully, I got a great offer quickly and accepted it. Once my background check cleared, I put in a 1-week notice. Honestly, I wasn't even sure they deserved that much. I half expected to be walked out the same day. Later that day, I had a meeting with my manager. He looked genuinely surprised that I was leaving and had the audacity to say, "You know, industry standard is 14 days. I laughed and left the meeting. The next week, I found out my role wouldn't be backfilled because of the freeze, and my manager would have to take over my responsibilities. My last few days consisted of him frantically asking me how to do very basic tasks. I either told him I was too busy or gave vague answers. Felt amazing. Looking back, I can't say I was happy at that company. Many of my coworkers were toxic in their own ways, and I've never experienced that level of dysfunction and incompetence anywhere else. I'm proud of the work I did, and I'm very glad I moved on, especially the way I did.